Notts County Talk, episode 4 of the Pavis Perspective, live with me and Tom. We're going to be talking, obviously, about the not so straightforward game about for Aldershot on Saturday, and leading up to Weymouth and Wealdstone, the games on Saturday and Tuesday, retrospectively. So we'll talk about Aldershot first, Tom. One straightforward, was it?
Horrible. I mean, I went into the game, I predicted a 2-0. They'd not won. I don't even know if they'd... I don't think they're putting any very good performances. But that's nuts. And I said it in a lot of our videos. 2 years ago, or last year, we would have come out of that with a draw or a loss. Definitely, 100%. I feel like if that was in the first season, we probably would have lost that game. Last season, we probably would have. I mean, we reacted straight away with Carl Cameron, but if that was last season, I very much think we would probably have reacted 10, 15 minutes later, and then it's too late to get the win. I think it's a massive result, and it's a massive way to get the win. So, yeah, very, very happy.
Yeah, it was. Both games now at Mead Lane have not been straightforward, have they? Proper nail-biting games and games where you're sort of sitting on your hands. But yeah, I mean, a lot to improve on, isn't there?
Yeah.
But key points to take from that game, I think, you love him, don't you? Alex Lacey was class. But I think another thing that we didn't really discuss too much in the videos that we did after full time was the goals that were disallowed. Now, I've seen the Kelly Evans one, the footage of it, and I'm still not sure. I feel like it could go either way. Even with the footage, it's a difficult decision to make. But the overlap, I think it was with O'Brien and Ruben, wasn't it?
Oh, God.
Miles onside. And you're thinking if those goals count, which, the O'Brien one should have, the Kelly Evans one, I'm saying it's 50-50. It's hard to tell. It's a completely different game. Completely different. We'd have run away with it. We'd have been 2-0 up in the first half, and it would have been totally different.
You can do that thing on YouTube, can't you? You can actually go on the settings and slow down the footage. And if you go and slow down the highlights, he's got one hand on the ball and Kelly Evans puts it in. Like he's reaching over with his second hand. But even when you watch it in full speed, maybe because I watched it in the slower speed, you can sort of tell that he's not in control of the ball. I don't think... keepers are always going to win them, and especially in the National League. Referees don't want to be making...
It's a difficult decision, isn't it? Difficult decision for the ref. You've got to give it a little bit.
At the end of the day, it's the wrong decision, so...
Yeah.
And it's denied a player that everyone loves and deserved the goal. So frustrating.
Yeah, really well, didn't he?
Something else we didn't mention, and I came away from the game thinking, I wish I talked about that in the fan chats, is actually Birchnell. He's changed it at half time. That takes guts. I know. I don't want to. I don't think we're mentioned in this season, and I won't regularly go back to speaking about it. But Neil Ardley would have waited till 70 minutes, 75 minutes to make a change. That takes guts. And also, I think, as well as he played, I think Birchnell does rate Brindley over Kelly Evans. And the way he didn't just push Brindley to wing back and kept Kelly Evans on and took Brindley off, I think that's good, very good management as well. Yeah. Very, very good. Yeah, so to make that change straight away, and it was just clever. It was just a very good piece of management and done at the right time.
Yeah, he was talking about it, wasn't he? And it was sort of a presser for this game and how the season's gone so far after we played 4 games. And he was talking about those decisions where people can say it's early in the game, but his vision is if it's not working, it's not working, and if you can change it and it's going to improve the way you're playing, and it's a tactical decision, then why not make it at half time? Why wait? If it's not working in 45, it's not going to work for the next 15, 20 minutes to see if it's going to work. So it's good philosophy to have, but like you say, very ballsy, isn't it? Very ballsy.
It is, yeah. And, you're taking... Brindley's a good player, and you're taking him off and you're switching it up, giving Cal more freedom, which we've got to talk about. Does he work in that more central position? Well, based on what I've seen so far, the 3 games I've seen, albeit one was limited against Wrexham and one was against a very compact Torquay, for me, he doesn't work in that position. As soon as he drops out wide, he's a different player.
Yeah, we were saying it. I remember saying it to you when we was walking towards the ground. I fear a bit for Roberts in the formation and the position that he's playing. He's a class player. Like he's our best player, really. Let's be honest.
Oh, no,
I mean, you could say he's the National League's best player. You've got to be honest. Like
I'm going
on his day, I'm sorry, just edges over Ruben for me. But I just feel like that game was the pinnacle of, your Suits playing that like wider role where he's going to one man rather than two, and he's sort of allowed to cut in a little bit more. Will Birchall change it? I'm not sure he will. I don't think he'll change it. But is it about Birchall changing it, or is it about maybe advancing Cal's role a little bit? Maybe Cal getting used to the role a little bit more as the season goes on? I'm not sure. It will happen. I feel like something's got to click.
You can't change the whole style you've worked up in pre-season for one player. That player has to adapt. The only thing for me, he's still building fitness up. I mean, he's had a year of very disrupted. He was absolutely out on his feet at the end of the older shot game. Like he literally collapsed. He was the first player to go down. Like he lay on his back, got his energy back. That will come with fitness, but other players are playing so well in the way we're playing. Look at Kelly Evans, played absolutely fantastic. Kyle Wootton, 4 and 4, really just putting in performance after performance. Ruben, honestly, what a player. Takes the ball down for the first, which I promise you 90% of players in that National League could not take the ball over their shoulder. Ball forward from Lacey as well, which is to be noted. Away from that as well, the game against Torquay, not to slate Rawlinson, he was putting balls forward and putting them out, and they were just going out of play. Lacey puts the ball forward, cuts, makes a goal. That's my argument for Lacey being in. But, Ruben takes that down. He loses the ball. For a player with that much flair and attack, he'll track back 30 yards and he'll win it back.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the ball off. So, he's playing really well in this formation. I think Matty Palmer's, he's enjoying it. Brindley's enjoying it. It's working well. And imagine fitting Cal into this and just take it to that next level.
Yeah.
For me, keep it the same. Got a few people messaging in. Chris says, even though Birchall seems to be a very astute tactician so far, very excited to see what the squad can achieve. Yeah, definitely. It's only going to get better. We're speaking to a few people at the game on Saturday, and they were saying, imagine what it's going to be like when it all clicks. Richard says, pre-season wins go more direct. Yeah, it needs to be mixed up because last season it got very repetitive and teams knew how to beat Notts straight away. When Cal pulls out wide as well, we saw with Dion a lot of the over-the-top balls were working and getting in behind. And the final point before we move on, Chris says in his interview he'd like to make a distinction between long ball and long pass. That's sort of what Dion was saying. When was it? In our interview with him a few weeks ago, he was saying how he's just incredibly tactical and spot on. Just fantastic coach, knows everything. And we see that in where he's mic'd up. So yeah. Before we go on then, George, should we just quickly talk about FanHub very, very quickly?
Yeah, so obviously it's something that we're involved in, and our content is on FanHub. It's obviously in the last week or two added the EFL level to that app, hasn't it, where you can you select your team, you start in 11, and you can earn fan shares from that. Checking at stadiums, which we've all done, and there's like a leaderboard, isn't there? It's actually really good. I'm not here to promote it. I'm literally here because I want as many Notts fans to get involved as we can, because it's sort of like a ranking system, isn't it? So like I think we're like 21st out of all the the app, not just in England, like on the app sort of thing. So we're doing quite well so far. Yeah. We're doing quite well.
It's golden ticket, isn't it? It's golden ticket to get on. So you get put in a queue, and if you manage to find a golden ticket code, you jump the queue, use the app straight away. The queue can take, a couple of days, maybe even a week to get down. So we have managed to get a golden ticket code with 5 users. 5 users. So we're going to put it up on the screen. If you want to download the FanHub app, you can get straight on. Or if you're on the FanHub app in the queue, use that golden ticket code. And 5 users will go pretty quick. I think last time something like, was it 11 minutes or something, we used a golden ticket code. So use that, really good, compete against Notts fans. Just a very good app. We're enjoying using it so far. So we'll look at the 2 teams we're facing then. Weymouth. away, start of the season. You're probably saying easy 3 points. Now, I want to look at Weymouth. Well, first of all, how do you feel about Weymouth away as a fixture?
I think it's a difficult one because they're going to be well up for it, aren't they? Yeah, I don't think this is. I mean, we've discussed it, haven't we, in the last couple of weeks, that the next lot of fixtures for us, we should really be looking to get 4 points from. But this league's, it's cruel, and it doesn't never really go that way, does it? So as much as I'd like to say with full confidence, I mean, we should go there and really do a job on them. We've been in the National League for 2 years now. If we've learnt nothing, if we've learnt something, it's that no one's a pushover.
Exactly. Bob says you watch Weymouth's highlights against Maidenhead, Grimsby, and Solihull, and they're a big physical side.
Yeah.
I feel like Wrexham was sort of physical, but I feel like we haven't faced a big side yet. Do you know what I mean? A side that's as much as is good is probably going to really test the players like Roberts and Kelly Evans. Really give them a test. See how they can hold out. Taylor, we haven't really seen up against big physical sides. We've known that we're better at dealing with the ball into the box. The Wrexham game showed that. But you look at Weymouth. Now, 2 points behind Notts. We've got 8, they've got 6. 2 wins from 2. They've just beaten Maidenhead 3-1. Maidenhead have done very well so far this season, haven't they?
Yeah.
And the mad result, which was Saturday, they've gone to Solihull and won 4-3. I wouldn't even bank on Notts going to score 4 at Solihull. We know exactly what Neil Ardley's like as a coach. Not many teams are going to score 4 past Solihull, which is it's crazy. And the games they didn't pick up points were Grimsby and Bournemouth, who aren't easy teams either. So if you're looking at them playing, an Altrincham or someone, they might even be on 7 points. They might be on 9 points. What do you make? They're going into the game after a 4-3 win away at Solihull.
They're well up for playing us, I think. I think, they've got a hard run of fixtures, haven't they, at the start of the season? As you've listed off a few of the names there, hard teams to beat, Grimsby, Bournemouth. And they've got Notts now, and they've just come off a very good win, like you said there, against Solihull. To score 4 against Solihull is pretty good going. Well, it's very good going. So this game has potential to be a high-scoring game, I think, if both teams are at it.
I think you could even use the word, I used it in a tweet earlier, you could even use the word banana skin. You really could, because it's one you're expecting to win.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to be like that. I feel like it's going to be, I don't know what it's like. I don't know if their pitch is any good. I imagine it's not as good as what we've been used to playing on. We've played a couple at Meadow Lane. Wrexham wasn't fantastic, and Barnet obviously wasn't fantastic. But really, there's something in my mind that I want to predict a big win, as you should. And if this is Weymouth at home, a completely different story. If this is Weymouth at home, I'm saying 3-0. Like we saw last season, 3-0 when fans return. But there's something niggling my mind about this, and I'm not quite 100% sure on it. It's going to be an interesting lineup choice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not going to be something that I feel like it's not going to be something we've seen yet.
What?
There's going to be a couple of changes in there.
What about formation-wise?
I think the formation will stay the same. I can't really see him changing it massive. I mean, now I've said that, it probably will change, but I think it's going to be a bit more of a physical side, like you said. So I feel like there might be a couple of changes in there. Yeah,
Keaton has just said 500 tickets, or we're taking 500, which is fantastic support. It is. It really is. And Notts fans always travel really well. Wrexham was really good. Obviously, the support of Barnet actually outnumbered the Barnet home fans. I think we were looking for a few more tickets from what I've read, but Weymouth wouldn't give us any more. I don't know if that's because they don't want their fans outnumbering by the travelling support, but you never, ever know. Also, let us know if you've managed to use that fan hub code. We are working tirelessly to get more, but they're like gold dust, aren't they, George? So
yeah, they are hard to get our hands on, aren't they? Sure.
Yeah, and if you've got one in the app, sometimes people get them. Just drop that in the chat, and you could help people out. So we're going to obviously go to Weymouth. I think obviously I want to win. In the grand scheme of things, if we were to take 4 points from the next 2 games, I wouldn't be too disheartened. But it depends how that comes about, doesn't it? Because if we beat Weymouth and then draw at home to Wealdstone,
Yeah,
that's poor. That's poor. It's a funny old one.
I think honestly, as much as these teams are obviously good sides. You're looking at Weymouth; they're scoring goals, but I don't think we can go into these games with that attitude. I think we have to be looking for 6 points in the next 2 fixtures. We have to, and I feel like we've got to set the precedent to do that as well. Like set the tone and almost not be like onto the team too much, but I think we've got to sort of demand 6 points from these games, Adam. If we're really serious about going up, these are 6 points we have to get.
I feel like when we looked at the 5 fixtures, it was obviously these 2 here, the one just gone against Aldershot, then there's Altrincham coming up, and there's one other game coming up that slips my mind at the minute, Maidenhead, I think it is, next Saturday. When I looked at those fixtures, there was I didn't predict 15 from those fixtures. I predicted 13. I think there's one game in there that's got the potential. I mean, no matter how good you are, unless you're Man City in the Prem, you look at the other good teams in the Prem, your Chelsea's, your Man U's, they will drop. They're not. You don't go 5 games and pick up maximum points all the time. I think there's going to be one in there we might draw, and to be it literally depends on the fixture. If it's Wealdstone, you're massively disappointed if you take the draw there. If it's Weymouth away, yes, it'll be. I get what you're saying. It'll be so frustrating, but also at the same time, I don't want to be at the top of the league too early. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm going to put it on record here. Chesterfield are going to fall off. They're going to fall off a cliff. Tashamanga will go through a dry spell. They'll be 20th by Christmas. I've called it.
Okay, that's huge.
I don't want to be up there too. I want to be chasing them and then pull away.
So staying on that topic, it got released in how much Chesterfield paid for Tashamanga, wasn't it? 265,000 reported. Yeah. That is insanity, isn't it? Crazy amounts of money. Money's being thrown all over the place this season.
How many Carl Wootons is that? That's like 4 and a bit Carl Wootons.
Well, it was 60k, I think, paid for Wootton.
And how much was Cal Roberts?
Undisclosed. I'd say it was probably around that figure though for
about 5
blind spots.
Ability of 5 mil.
Yeah.
We'll look at the lineup at Weymouth before we look ahead to Wealdstone then, because it's gonna change. There's going to be changes. We're not going to play the same side. So we'll go Slocum in goal.
Mm-hmm.
Was he at fault for any goals on Saturday?
Slocum?
Yeah. No, but he was shaky, and I heard you shout at him once. So
yeah, I said it after the game. I think he's a little bit hesitant, and I think I've said it. He knows he's not on his A game. I think at the moment, I think we've just got to get behind him a little bit and not sort of give him any grief, because he knows he's a professional. He knows the game inside out, doesn't he?
He does, but at the same time, there is going to be a point where if it doesn't stop, it will cost us points. Where is hesitant, not swear.
It has cost us points.
Well, yeah, but it's going to happen again, isn't it? And then you start to look and pressure's there. But Slocum in goal. Who goes right wing back for you for this game? You're looking at a big physical team. Dion could cut it against a team of 6'9" players. So for me, it's Dion.
Yeah.
Undroppable after that. Then you go your 3 centre backs. Now we put this out on Twitter on last night, and I couldn't believe the response. I don't know if you've seen the results.
Yeah.
We put up, who would you like to see as centre back? And you can answer this in here now, even if you voted. Let us know. Your mind might have changed in 24 hours. Who would you prefer at centre back against Weymouth? Rawlinson, Lacey, or both? Now I didn't include an option of neither, because if neither of them start as centre back, I'll eat my shirt. I'm that certain one of them.
You'll eat your shirt.
Yeah,
I'll remember that.
Unless it's an injury, I'm not eating my shirt. But who are those 3 centre backs for you against Weymouth?
Really hard, isn't it? I mean, you could make a case.
For leaving Brindley out.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Putting Rawlinson in on that right centre back, Lacey central, and then Cameron left centre back.
So we've got a few people saying Lacey. Max says both. I would go Kelly Evans. Other wing back, I'll go Taylor. Can't leave out the captain, Kyle Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
You also can't leave Lacey out because he was absolutely brilliant. But for me, Lacey won't play both games, just fitness-wise.
Yeah,
that leaves one spot for me. How Brindley will be fantastic at home to Wealdstone. I he will.
Mm.
But he's only played 45 minutes against Aldershot. So you're looking. I'm going to go Rawlinson, Lacey, and Cameron.
We're agreed then so far.
We've got to have the physical presence, and Brindley, a fresh Brindley, he could even come on, but maybe to give Lacey a rest, a fresh Brindley for the midweek game, spot on. So we've got our back six essentially. This is also for me a game for one man, Jim O'Brien. It makes sense.
Yeah. It's difficult for me. The dilemma I've got in my head is Palmer starts without a doubt for me.
Oh yeah,
in central midfield, Palmer starts without a doubt. What I was thinking was, for me, Cairo Mitchell and Wharton have to start this game. I think Cairo Mitchell will play very well against Weymouth. He'd suit them out. He's a strong, physical player. He's quick, so we can sort of play him at their own game. And look how good he was against Aldershot. Real,
key passes.
Yeah, chances created. Passes. I mean, in the second half, I'd love to see how many of the chances that we created actually came from him, because I think it'd be a large percentage.
So we're both agreed on Palmer, but then you look at Job. I think Job's got to play this game. I do worry that now Doyle's not on the pitch, and now that Reeves is gone, you need a not nasty, because Job's not a nasty player. He's a gritty player. You need that on the pitch. It has to be on the pitch for games like this, because these are the games. Like, we're going to go to teams like this in January and February, and it'll be freezing cold, and it'll have snowed for 3 days before. You've got to have players in there that are going to snap at players, and you see Jim will not let players rest. He doesn't get a through ball, and it's like he's going to bite their head off. It's great. It's good to see. We've got to have that in the team. We don't have it without Job on the pitch. We have a bunch of nicer players. Kyle Cameron's he's got a bit there, but I feel like he has to be really riled up for it. Jim just walks on the pitch and he's a born winner. So I'm going Jim and Palmer. What are you saying?
Oh, I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? It's really difficult. I do agree with you. I do think Jim, he offers a lot more. But against a side like this, I feel like he'd be better maybe coming on in the second half to stretch him a little bit after the legs are tiring.
So I'm guessing you're starting Ed Francis away at Weymouth.
Yeah.
I hope you never get the manager's job, mate. Ed Francis away at Weymouth. His legs were like jelly when he was playing at home to Torquay. He was passing the ball. I don't know. I don't think it's his game.
I think he's going to be a key player for Notts this season. I think he's not at the best of starts, but I think given the chance, I think he's been captain at most levels that he's played at up to now.
So
he's elite. No, you haven't.
I've been captain at under 10 level. Yes, I have.
Five-a-side don't count, mate.
You don't have five-a-side captains. I've been captain for Netherfield, whatever the team was, under 10s. I wore that armband.
Under 10s?
Yeah.
What happened under 11s?
Only level I played at, so I have been captain of England, but forget that.
No, but yeah, for me, I think Ed Francis and Palmer, your two main midfielders, and then I'm gonna go. Oh, I don't know what to do. Real dilemma this is.
You're wrong. Let's get away from this subject because we're not going to agree. I think rest Cal or Ruben, save him for Tuesday, have Job in the number 10. That's an option. You could have Francis and Job playing with Palmer, because Job could play a bit further forward.
Yeah, no, it does give him a bit more freedom, doesn't it? I suppose that is a good point. And then rest either Cal or Ruben. I do feel like maybe Cal would do well to be rested. Do you know what I mean? I think it'd do him some good to be rested, even though it has been a week. Yeah, that's what I mean. So
absolutely blowing.
He's played quite a lot, hasn't he, this season? He's played a bit in pre-season as well. So I think maybe give him a rest on Saturday, and then maybe that's a good point. And then go Francis, Palmer, O'Brien, Ruben, Water.
You having Mitchell as well, or not?
Oh,
that's what I mean. You got Mitchell.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, I know. It's on my back. I'll show you when it's healed. But
nice dilemma to have, though, isn't it?
It is really nice dilemma to have. But is it going to explode in our face? Because you're looking at the options we have. More so from midfield forward, it's difficult. It's difficult to choose, and we've got players that are going to want to start in every game. And then something as well that Lee Curtis put out today about Frank Vincent. Everyone's sort of saying, where's he at? He's had a slight knee injury, hasn't he, that he's been coming back from. But when he's added to the mix, he's a player that's come from Bournemouth, was on loan last year. I think was it Warsaw. So I mean, this is going to be a player as well that wants to get game time, wants to be playing, and I feel like probably has good qualities. He talks well in his interviews, which always helps. So
talking about Vincent, aren't you?
Yeah, Frank Vincent. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Would you give Frank Vincent a run out?
I don't. From what I understand, I don't think he's quite ready yet, is he?
Yeah, but Bertrand said that he's causing him problems because he's training well. Richard says, this is a good one, same start 11 as Wrexham with the two Golden Boys to stretch it second half. Could you imagine either one of them, Cal, fully fit to go against Wealdstone or Ruben? I can't see them. I can't see Wealdstone coming to Meadow Lane on Tuesday night and being able to do. I say a lot of things on the channel that then blow up my face, but I can't see this blowing up my face. I can't see them dealing with Ruben and Cal if they're both fresh. I seriously can't. Like,
I agree.
That's sickening. Like, you're a defender and you've got Ruben overlapping Cal, and you'll pack your bags at half time. You literally would. You'd be sat on the coach with your headphones in. They'd be shouting. You won't come back out.
Oh God!
Can you imagine? Yeah, I just cannot see. Yeah, I'm going with Richard. I reckon you start. I reckon you do the same 11 as at Wrexham. Because if that's not Wrexham, we take all 3 points.
With Cairo starting.
Yeah, with Cairo starting, and then we've got those options on the bench.
This is what I mean, though. Like, I'm not even opposed to any of these options. I quite like most of the options that have been put forward. But is that going to be a problem going forward for Birchnell, like keeping all the players happy? Do you know what I mean? And sort of getting the best out of this squad whilst keeping the players happy, because we have got real strength in quality and numbers. I think you look at the bench this season compared to exactly. This is what I mean. You even forget about some of the players, not in a way that you forget about them because of performance, in a way that we've got that many options.
Just another. What happens when Lewis Knight comes back? We don't actually know how good Lewis Knight is. My only memory of Lewis Knight is playing away at Hartlepool when he came off the bench, Hartlepool or Stockport, or maybe even Solihull. They all look the same on the streams last season. And all I remember is the only thing I remember is him absolutely burning their fullback and putting a great cross in that should have been scored. We don't actually know how good he is, and he's been brought in by Football Radar, so he's got to have something about him. My mind was blown. I only came on here for a chat with you, and
I know, I'm stressed now.
Absolutely gone. So, definite starters. Let's go through quickly for it. Definite starters: Slocum, Kelly Evans, Rawlinson, Lacey, Cameron, Taylor, Palmer, Cairo, Wootton. They're definite starters. And then Job and Francis, you could.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris, you've blown my mind here. Aren't we doing a Sam Wonder goal? We are. I think we put Cairo, Wootton, Sam, Cal, Ruben, start them all. Start Lewis Knight half fit.
This is the thing, though. As we talk about formation, if we do change formation, it does sort of allow more of those players to come into the game a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got players like, let's say, Joel Taylor. Possibly, you could make an argument from being a left mid winger. Yeah. And then it sort of, I don't know what to say.
I'm going to go, but I'm going to wrap it all into one thought, I'm going to go with what Richard said. Very smart. I think same side that went against Wrexham. Not only would we have got the win if we played a team that weren't Wrexham, we very nearly did. It was an error. We also would have another opportunity to play that formation in a competitive game and maybe get a win with it. It rests our two out-and-out best players. It also leaves us as an option to come off the bench. It allows us to combat a strong Wrexham side. And someone's looked in the chat about on a maybe a poor bobbly pitch against a big team. So I'm going with that. That's what I'm saying.
I think as well, you know, once Caro gets off the mark, he'll really get going, and I think he'll be causing problems for everyone.
100%. David said, let's get this up in the chat. And then we need to give Vincent and Chickson a run out. Exactly. Chickson's done nothing wrong. Chickson's been a good player. He got played out of position against Torquay, got the assist though. Vincent definitely needs to come on. Maybe Vincent will be sort of 70th minute onwards and then maybe 60th minute onwards and see how he plays. Chickson does need to get there at some point. Whether you rotate Chickson at wing back against Wealdstone when you possibly have to do less defending and get him a chance to attack, I don't know. But this sums it up. Not as Carter Cal says, quality after quality in every position. And I think that sums up how under the radar our transfer window has gone. Absolutely class.
Yeah, problems, headaches for Birchnells, but good headaches.
Yeah. One thing I want to say before we go on to the score prediction is I just want to mention Wealdstone. We're discounting them a little bit here. Their start to the season has been disgracefully hard. Woking, Chesterfield, Southend, Dagenham.
Disgustingly hard.
Didn't pick anything up against Woking and Chesterfield. Lost. Drew to Southend.
That's a great result.
Got another comment. Doyle's due a run out. We'll get Birch a run out soon. we can't keep them all happy, but it's true.
I want a run out.
Right? No, you're not playing. You weren't captain on the 10 level. And they got a draw against Dagenham. They got a draw against Dagenham and Redbridge, who at that point I think had 100% record. So they're not going to be easy. But having Meadow Lane, I think it suits us. I do. The comments tonight have been fantastic getting involved. Some really interesting debates caused, headaches caused. Yeah, it's mad. So we'll go on to our prediction. Put your predictions in there. We'll start off with Weymouth. Go on then. I'll let you kick off. Weymouth prediction.
2-1 Notts. 2-1 Notts.
And who's scoring?
I'm going Caro Mitchell to get a brace.
I actually knew you'd say that. Jimmy says 2-2. I'm going with... You said high scoring game, didn't you? Possibly. So I'm going to go 1-0 Notts. I'm going Caro Mitchell. I think.
Who's assisting his goal?
Dion.
It's tense. Oh, called it.
Yeah, we've got a Weymouth 2-0 from Keaton. Notts County Cal says 4-2. We've got 3-1. I think it's from Kieran. 12-0 Notts. I'll take that. 2-1.
Wootton 6, Slocum 6. That's a shout, that is.
Yeah. And then we go on to Wealdstone. I'm going 3-0 Notts. 3-0.
It's got the potential, I think, for that to be like a really, really good performance. Do you know what I mean? You've played 5 games. The squad is fairly settled. I think Bertrand will have an idea of his best 11, possibly. As difficult as it may be.
So I think it's good not to have a settled 11 though, because teams can't plan for you. Wrexham wouldn't have had a clue that Caro Mitchell and Carl Wootton were going to start. They had been training for Ruben and Cal. Yeah. So, yeah. I've got 3-0.
I'm going to go 2-0.
Routine 2-0 or nail biter?
No, I think it's going to be one of those where we should probably score more. But it ends up just being 2-0. But you know, any 2-0 win's a good 2-0 win.
Yeah, we've got Chris saying Wootton to get his 5th in 5. Now, on paper, no disrespect to teams, Wootton could shoot up the top goal scorers with the fixtures we've got. He scored against Wrexham and he scored against Torquay. Yeah, big teams to score against. Wrexham was away. Wrexham was a Premier League standard goal. So
yeah, I'd like to see him break 25 goals this season.
Well, he's on for.
Yeah, he's well on for. He's on for 40 odd, isn't he?
40 odd, yeah. that won't happen. But
nice.
So a few more. We've got 4-0 Knots, laying the marker down. This is for Wealdstone. We've got 3-0 Knots, 3-1 from Jimmy. Keaton says all front three to score against Wealdstone.
You know, if we do get a big win though, like let's say we go to Weymouth then and win 4-0, just as instance. Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think that'll give us the confidence then to go on and be like, oh, we're invincible? Or
nah, yeah, 4-0 away from home against the team that's just put 4 past Neil Ollis, Solihull. Unreal. We're going to come back on here next Thursday, like, what's United towards finish 1-0 Weymouth, 1-1 against Wealdstone.
Yeah, absolutely. Pick 1 point from what should have been 6.
But yeah, it's interesting. I can't wait for the games. As I've already tweeted, Meadow Lane on a Tuesday night, you've been at work, or for the younger viewers, you've been at school. You know you've got that to look forward to the end of the day.
Breaks the week up. I love them. I do Tuesday nights.
Nothing beats it. And then back on the Saturday as well for Maidenhead, that'd be. Yeah. So if you haven't used the golden ticket code, or it might have expired, just give us a direct message on Twitter, message on Instagram, Facebook. We'll try and sort with more codes because a lot of Nats fans are getting involved. Well over 100 now. It's growing like by quite a lot every day.
Yeah.
We'll remind you to use the app. If you're going down to Weymouth, check in using the app. You get a lot of points because that'll be a long distance. So you shoot up the leaderboard for the amount of miles you've travelled from Nottingham, or if you've travelled anywhere else. The interaction tonight has been fantastic. You know, over 50 of you watching for most of it. So I really appreciate that. We will have reaction to Weymouth and obviously videos after the Wealdstone game. Let's hope all our predictions, at least one of them comes true because they've been nothing but positive. And as always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel because it massively helps us out.